Good morning, students. Welcome to the module 2 of elasticity of demand. In module 1, we had done the meaning of price elasticity of demand and the various type of elasticity of demand like price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand and cross elasticity of demand. The meaning of these. Today, we are going to do and deal with the different categories of price elasticity of demand. Now, the various degrees or the classification of price elasticity of demand are perfectly inelastic demand, perfectly elastic demand, unitary elastic demand and inelastic demand. We will discuss them in detail in this particular module. We move on to the first type, that is perfectly inelastic demand. In such case, you can see this price elasticity of demand is denoted by EP. E stands for elasticity and P stands for price. Okay, so EP denotes price elasticity of demand. So what is meant by perfectly inelastic demand? Okay, let us read. When quantity demanded of a commodity does not respond to a change in its price, then the elasticity of demand is perfectly inelastic or equal to zero. It means whatever may be the change in price, the demand remains the same. It will not change. Okay, in case of some particular medicines, the case is perfectly inelastic demand. Okay, in case of a medicine that is very important for a person, very important, in that case, whatever may be the price of that commodity, of that medicine, the consumer will demand it. Suppose a medicine is available for rupees 100. Suppose a medicine is available for rupees 100. Okay, he will demand the same. And when the medicine is available for 200, he will still demand the same quantity because these are necessities or they cannot live without it. So, for such commodities, elasticity of demand is zero. It means there will be no change. When the price changes from P to P1, the quantity remains the same. When the price changes from P to P1, the quantity remains the same. It means elasticity of demand is equal to zero. Zero elasticity of demand. We move on to the second one, perfectly elastic demand. Now, the word perfectly elastic means there is a lot change. Now, what does it mean? Perfectly elastic means when consumers are ready to purchase all that they can get at a particular price. Okay, suppose the consumer at rupees 10 is buying whatever they can get of that particular commodity, but when the price increases slightly also, the demand will be nothing. I repeat, suppose the consumers are ready to buy at rupees 10 whatever units of the commodity that they can get, but when the price slightly rises, suppose the price rises from rupees 10 to rupees 12, there is a very slight rise of rupees 2, but the demand will drastically change. Okay, at price 12 they will demand nothing of that commodity. Then the elasticity of demand is said to be perfectly elastic or infinity. You can see this diagram. This is the price P. Okay, price and quantity demanded is to be plotted on x and y axis. At a particular price P, he is buying whatever he can get. At a particular price P, the quantity demanded is infinity. Q1 doesn't know where it will reach. It's infinity. But if a price slightly increases, the demand will fall to nothing or the demand will fall to zero. Then elasticity of demand is perfectly elastic or infinity. Now we move on to the next one. that is unitary elastic demand. In such case, EP is equal to 1. Okay, 1 unitary means 1. The meaning of the word unitary is 1. What happens in one? When unitary elastic demand, there is a equal percentage change in price and the equal percentage change in quantity. When the percentage change in price of a commodity is exactly equal to the percentage change in quantity demanded, then elasticity of demand is said to be unitary or equal to 1. Please try to understand this. Price increases by 30%. Quantity also falls by exactly 30%. We very well know that price and demand have inverse relationship. We very well know that price and demand have inverse relationship. When the price will increase, the demand will decrease. Okay, so price increases by 30%. Quantity falls exactly by 30%. It means same change in price and same change in quantity. That is the case of EP equal to 1. Now the curve you are seeing here is called a rectangular hyperbola. Okay, price quantity demanded has to be plotted on x and y axis. The curve you are seeing here is rectangular hyperbola. Okay, it's bit whenever you will make this curve, you'll make sure that the distance here and the distance here remains the same. When you're plotting it, it will be a little bit tilted like this. Okay, a little bit tilted like this, and the difference here and the difference here will remain the same. Okay, when you make it, make a little bit tilted. Don't make it like this, make it a bit tilted like this. Okay, now on this curve, this is called a rectangular hyperbola. On a rectangular hyperbola, every point measures equal to 1. Okay, on a rectangular hyperbola, every point on this curve is equal to 1. Now we move on to the next concept, that is elastic demand or EP greater than 1. Greater than 1. What is the case when demand is said to be elastic or greater than 1? Let's discuss. Okay, when there will be very less change in price but the quantity increase will be very huge, in such a case the elasticity of demand is greater than unitary or greater than 1. Unitary means 1. Okay, so greater than unitary means greater than 1. Let us discuss this particular topic. Okay, when the percentage change in quantity of a commodity is much more than the percentage change in price, elasticity of demand is greater than unitary. What does this mean? It means, I'm showing you the example. If the price increases by 10%, quantity is falling by 70%. There is a huge change in quantity. प्राइस में कम चेंज, क्वांटिटी में बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज. Same way, when the price falls by just 20%, the quantity increases by a huge amount of 60%. Very less change in price and a very huge change in quantity. Okay, so this is the case of elastic demand or EP greater than 1. Now you see this particular curve, how you will make it. The curve needs to be flatter in nature. When I say flatter and steeper, flatter means towards this and steeper means like this. Okay, flatter means like this, a bit flat. Okay, the curve needs to be flat. Why? You can see here there is a very less change in price and there is a huge change in quantity. Again, I am telling you, there is a very less change in price but there is a huge change in quantity. When initial price is P and Q, okay, again I am repeating, initial price is P and Q. When the price falls by a minimum percentage, very less percentage, when the price falls by a minimum percentage, there is a huge change in quantity in Q1. Price falls from P to P1, quantity usually increases from Q to Q1. So the curve needs to be a little bit flatter. EP greater than 1. Less change in price but a huge change in quantity. Okay, now we move on to the last type. inelastic demand. Any guesses how you will be doing inelastic demand? Simple concept. When the percentage in change in quantity demanded is less than the percentage change in price, EP is less than unitary or less than 1. Now what does this mean? It means the price will change hugely, but the quantity will change very less. You can see here price increased by a huge percentage, 70%, but the quantity only falls by 10%. In the same way, price falls. Your price is falling by 50%, but the quantity changes is very less. The quantity is just changing by 5%. Price falls by huge 50%, but the quantity just increases by 5%. It means प्राइस में बहुत ज़्यादा चेंज, क्वांटिटी में बहुत कम चेंज. A very less change in quantity and a very huge change in price is the concept of inelastic. Now let us see this curve. Okay, this is the initial P, this is the initial Q, right? Price changes much, but the quantity changes very less. The price changes much, but the quantity changes very less. And you need to make a steeper curve. Flatter is like this, steeper is like this. Flatter is like this, steeper is like this. Price, when the price falls from P to P1, the quantity increases from Q to Q1. Okay, but the price changes much and the quantity changes very less. Price falls very hugely, but the quantity increases very less. Thank you, students.